Well, now, if you're sitting comfortably, you're a lot better off from the guys you're about to see. It's the Motocross World Championships. Presented by Acerbis.
Motocross comes to Scandinavia and the city of Uddevalla here in Sweden. Casting a watchful eye, seaward, flanked by Gothenburg and Stormstad, Uddevalla, with a population around 49,000, can only be described as a jewel in the crown of Sweden's cities. You can be assured, be it winter or summer, that there will be a warm welcome here in Uddevalla. A major attraction on the skyline is the new Uddevalla Bridge, the biggest in the country, 1,712 metres across. This is a city bustling with fun and warmth, as you would expect from a seaside resort with its markets, industries and many beautiful lakes. The last motocross GP came to Uddevalla in 1999. Then it was the 500s. But today, Sweden plays host to the first triple header, and most of the 49,000 inhabitants are here to cheer on their home riders. And indeed, we've got one or two of those, regulars Joachim Karlsson, of course, Peter Johansson in the 500s. But first, it was the turn of the 125s. The second of the 125 qualifying heats turned to a total disaster for both of the championship contenders, James Dobb and Eric Egan's. In the charge for the first corner, Egan's collided with Bellametti. His wayward machine then claimed Dobb. Both were left to pick up themselves and their bikes. You can see from our camera angle here that Bellametti bounced off the bank and collided with Egan's front wheel. Dobb, unable to avoid Egan's fallen bike, went over the bars, and that was that. Egan's retired with a damaged machine and a one-way ticket to the last chance qualifying session. Dobb pulled in after one lap with pain in his left shoulder and was later diagnosed with a broken collarbone. Would this affect his championship chances?
Yeah, I broke my collarbone, so it's one of them things. But things happen in life, and you just got to get on and work around them, and just get ready for the next Grand Prix, get it healed up and fixed up, and you know I can miss the next two races and still have a 10-point lead, and I guarantee I'll be 15 points in the lead after Namur. So that's all I'm looking forward to.
However, in Heat 1 of the 125, saw Frenchman Luigi Siggi put together a consistent set of laps to finish second in the heat. This was good enough to place him third on the start gate for Sunday's GP. But he had to battle for the position. Second on the gate for Sunday was the survivor, or should we say the instigator of all the carnage at the start of the race, Italian Alexander Bellametti. Completely unaware of the situation behind him, he just stuck to the task of winning and did that in fine style. But there was once again one man who no one was going to catch, Danish Yamaha rider Brian Jorgensen. This was to be his first pole position of the year, and as the Scandinavian had high hopes of a win here in Sweden in front of some fellow Danes and fans who had come over to support him.
Yeah, you know, I had a pretty good start. I was sort of 6th place and make my way through, and got up to 1st and pulled away, and I think that's what every motocross rider would wish for. So I did that today, and I hope I can do it again tomorrow.
As with all motorised sports, success can depend on tyres. Motocross is a hard sport. It's raced on hard, stony or soft, sandy and muddy circuits. The right choice can make the difference of winning or not. World number 1 Fred Bolle has his own secrets to be a champion.
You know, on a World Championship, everything is important, and especially the tires, because we need a lot of traction, and it's really difficult to get traction in motocross. So when something special, I keep it with me.
.250cc qualifying was to be a short session. For halfway in, the allowed time, the rain started to fall. But not before Kawasaki's youngster Frenchman Michael Meschio had put in a quick time of 2:06.388. Maybe this will be the turning point, for so far the start of this season has not been so good, only scoring in 2 out of the 6 GPs. Carrying our helmet camera into second place for this GP of Sweden, the lone 250 Chesterfield Yamaha squad entry, Italian Claudio Frederici. He put together a time of 2:04.32. Championship leader Suzuki's Michael Pigeon went out onto the circuit at just the right moment. His time of 2:04.269 placed him on pole position for the GP, and with the tight first turn it would be essential to make that all-important first corner. But it was not easy for him, with the occasional fall not helping his confidence for Sunday's race.
Good, yes and not, because it's been so long we haven't ride. I feel like I'm riding not so well, making a lot of mistakes today. And, you know, I think I feel like I will need more ride on the track. But at the end I rode a little bit better, but for sure while I was trying to make a lap, I almost crashed, and I crashed one time, and I almost crashed a couple of times pretty fast, and scared myself a little bit. So even if I get the first time, you know, I'm still not happy with the way I rode, and if I want to win tomorrow, I'm gonna have to be more smooth, I think.
Hi, I'm Joachim Karlsson. Let me take you for a lap here in Uddevalla. Here we are on the start straight. It's about 120 meters long. Right-hand corner goes on to a left-hand corner, and here it goes tight. Goes down a short straight, down to quite tight right-hand corner. Go over a jump, small one. Then right-hand corner goes down and up, tight left, onto the biggest jump on the track. It's a big tabletop. And here we have a quite fast, long left corner. And it goes a little bit tighter down here, and then up towards, it's a small jump on the inside there. And then we go quite tight right-hand corner, up to another tabletop, and then down into a left-hand corner with quite soft material, and then we go up, and there we have a jump, and then we go into a long right-hand corner, quite difficult corner to go fast, and then we go down into 180 degrees left corner, and then we come up to a quite big jump with hard landing, and then we come up again and a left-hand corner before the whoop section. This is quite difficult place to be really fast. And then we come into another right-hand corner, up to a short tabletop. And then we come into right-hand corner with a very slippery surface. And then a short straight before the big jump, and we have a long downslope here into the valley. Up the valley, a left-hand corner, and then into right-hand off camber corner, and then we have a quite long straight before a long left-hand corner. We have to turn twice in, and then we have a jump, a step up. We go over that, and then a drop down in the valley again, and up in the valley, small jump, and the left-hand corner past the mechanic area on the right-hand side. Then the right-hand corner over the finish line there. And that was a lap with me, Joachim Karlsson, on my RWJ 500 Honda.
yourself go. Summertime on Eurosport. Just lie back and enjoy it. Eurosport. Sunny side up.
The big class of the weekend had to endure the slippery conditions left by the early rain. 24 Australian and former World 500cc champion Shane King on the KTM slid round to clock up a good time, 2:07.348. Championship leader Belgium Stefan Everts decided to go for an early quick lap, and the time of 2:07.137 placed him on the Rads and L&M Yamaha in second place on the gate for the GP. 140 points in the series after 6 rounds, just 23 in front of the second place man, Smith. But at home soil and in front of his home fans here in Sweden, on the number 3 KTM, there was no stopping Peter Johansson. His time of 2:05.816 put him on pole for the 500 GP, and he would also be carrying our helmet camera for the race.
Yeah, I had a good time, and I think I was a little bit lucky because I saw the rain was coming and I had a few drops just before the finish line, and then I went one more lap and then it started raining really bad in the end. So, but I finished my lap and it was a good lap, so I was a little bit lucky to have this pole.
So after 3 weeks of no race in the GP action comes to life here in Uddevalla, Sweden. And just look at the size of the crowd. There must be 30,000 or more hanging off the rock face here that forms a natural grandstand. You could not want for a better atmosphere for a motocross GP. Let battle commence. So the atmosphere is building. Here we go. The first race coming down to the line here at the Uddevalla, the Swedish Grand Prix, as the gate drops. The 1-2-5s get away. Who's going to get the all-important first corner? Well, 39, Mark Deruva. He's got a great start. Well, it's Kenneth Gunderson has come around the outside of Deruva. He has taken that whole shot. That looks like Eric Egan's on the outside of him. There is Balametti, and that's Patrick Casper. Somebody's gone there. No, that's Puzar. Number 12, Alexander Puzar going down the Italians. Oh, Philip Dupasquet is caught up amongst that as well. Well, poor Dupasquet just cannot seem to stay on the bike for the last few Grand Prix. Well, as they sort themselves out, Marco Dorsch, he's in there as well, number 44. But there's the instigator, number 12. That's Puzar who brought them down, but it's Gunderson that has the lead. Deruva, the Belgian, there behind him, 19 years of age. And then it looks like Eric Egan, second in the championship. Had to go to the last chance qualifier to make it through, and only finished second after that crash with James Dobbs. But it's Gunderson then that leads them through the whoops. Deruva all over the place there. He nearly lost it. Oh, and again the front wheel dug away. This is a very tricky circuit. Gunderson then, Deruva, Eggins, Balametti, Brian Jorgensen, Mark Frank in there, carrying our onboard camera in 6th place. Stephen Sword, Stefanini, Ramon, Luigi Siggi, Brueggemann and Eric Sorbet, top 12. And look at Guidetti, Serge Guidetti, 17th, Andy Parinen down there behind him. Well, a great scrap on here. This is 58. Kevin Strybus there with Patrick Capps, number 5, and Capps not having the best of races. But Kenneth Gunderson, look at this. This young man, he won a Grand Prix last year, hasn't done it this year. Let's have another look at that start then. It's very tight. Dupasquet, number 9, on the MJ Church Kawasaki, squeezed out at the back. So was Patrick Adams. Down went 36. Well, that Antti-Parinen, that's the reason why he's so far down the field. He's had to pick it up and start from dead last. And look at this, Capps in trouble. Well, Capps took down number 12 it was, and of course that's Puzar. And then, well, chaos proceeded. So, Gunderson out there in front. He has this well and truly under control at the moment. So let's see, this is the Dutchman then, Mark Deruva, second place for him. This has got to be one of his best rides so far this season. This is round 7 of the FIM Championship, 1-2-5-2-50-500. Mark Deruva second, chasing number 7, Kenneth Gunderson. Track this, as you can see, very rough at the moment. Well, there is Balametti, and he's running, I think, in 4th place. He's got Ryan Jorgensen there behind him. And so, no, that is Ramon now with Jorgensen. So Steve Ramon absolutely flying up the field at the moment, trying to make up for not the best stuff. The young Kawasaki youngster, well, he's had not the best of season so far. Only scoring in 3 of the 6 months. He's got a lot to do. Stephen Sword well down here at the moment.
And Torrance still down there in 18th place. So I'm not able to pick himself up and get going again. But this is where it's cut off. It is. Looking very for a moment as Ramon does the close on it. Looking away from the inside of Ramon Cavallari. Looks like he's got it. He has indeed. That's the door on Bellometti over the woodblock. That's that position. Cavallari goes to home. Jump one. What a great footage. And this is Brian Jorgensen. Remember, he was on pole. He is now going after Bellometti, and it's gone inside. His next man on his list will, of course, be that green car number 0. So the 26-year-old from Copenhagen started racing his first GP in Italy in 1995. Looking good at the moment. But Stephen Sword, number 15, the young shot from Lockerbie, is also beginning to close in on Bellometti as they go through that very technical whoop section. That's caught a few riders out, particularly in the 500 club, but the 125 lads coping with it well. So there is Brian Jorgensen. He is going well at the moment. Bellometti there behind him, no change. So can Jorgensen get any further forward? Can he get any further up that leaderboard before the checkered flag goes out? Well, there's still time left. So Mark Garuva still strong at the moment. Still with Eric Eggins there behind him in third place. Almost 5 seconds the difference now between those two. So it really could go either way. Eggins having to come through that last chance race after crashing in the second qualifying heat with James Dobb. Would like to take maximum points, 25 on offer, but he's back in third. That's only 15. So that reduces the damage to James Dobb's lead in the championship. But there is Steve Ramon in fourth on the Kawasaki. 5 and a bit seconds there behind the man in front, so still a chance for him to close the gap and maybe take a couple of extra points. Through that gnarly whoop section, he's through very, very safely. All the back end getting into that soft stuff, sliding around. Kenneth Gunderson on the KTM, absolutely untroubled at the moment. He's led from literally the drop of the gate, and I think that's where he intends to stay. Gunderson going for gold here at the moment in Uddevalla. First GP on a 125 was in the Netherlands 1997. So he's looking good. And look at Steve Ramon now. You can see the difference in pace between the two riders. Ramon catching the man in front, Eric Eggins. And Eggins will not want to surrender third too easily because that's 15 points. Closing the gap on seriously with James Dobb with his absence now from this Grand Prix due to that injury. But I'm sure Steve Ramon would like to take the 15 from the man in front on the 20 KTM bike. So it's just a question of time. Gunderson still has it from Garuva. Egan's, Ramon, Sword up to 5th, Brian Jorgensen 6th. Brugelman, Bellometti dropping back, Luigi Sicchi, Stefanini, Uvel and Franklin. So they're still going well, and Marco Dorsch, well, he's back into the top 18 at last after crashing out in that early stages with that big pile-up, which, of course, included our number 12 bike, which was, of course, Puzar. Here they go, up the hill. Now he's got him. He's gone through. Ramon found that extra bit of drive up that little step-up section. He's gone past Eggins. Well, can Eggins strike back? This is the question that we have to ask. Can Eric Eggins, is he strong enough to fight back? Where's Garuva? The answer is right there. And look at this. They're both closing in on him. The Dutch rider, well, he's feeling the pressure, and Ramon goes straight past. I suspect that Eggins will be the next man along. Not far behind, there he is. So Garuva, not, I think, fully fit for this kind of race pace. He's beginning to feel it and starting to slow down. Let's have a look at that again. You see through the woods, just look at Ramon. He nails the Kawasaki, goes across the nose of the Yamaha rider. Well, that's it. One place gone for Garuva. He's back in third. Ramon is up to second. Now, what can Eggins do? And here they are again, and where is Eric? There he is. You just saw him behind that bike of number 39, Mark Garuva. Up into the same section of the track again, and the distance is closing. It really is a battle for survival at the moment. And there is Luigi Sicchi. He's got number 23 there right behind him. Ben Brugelman. So Gunderson from Verone to Garuva. Eggins, Stephen Thornton, Jorgensen, Bellometti, Brueggemann, Guy, Stefanini, and Sorby beginning to pull through as well. So it's anybody's race as far as the lower positions are concerned, but at the moment it's certainly not settled at the front, except for the fact that Gunderson leads it. But this is a great strap. Look at this. That is Brian Jorgensen defending his line there, number 76. Remember, he was pole sitter. Guy and Bellometti right there with him, so it could go anybody's way between these three. They're all after that one place. that young Brian Jorgensen, the Dane, occupies at the moment. But there is Eric Eggins. He is up into third. So that can only mean that the Ruva has dropped back to fourth. Those arms obviously beginning to tire in these very, very poor conditions of the track. So out goes our helmet camera there, the Belgian rider Mark taking. Well, he's had enough of that, I think, for one day. You can see by the look on his face that he's absolutely exhausted, but not this man. He has led, and he leads into the last lap. Kurt Nickel there looks on to see how the champ KTM runner is going. Nickel, of course, in charge of the major KTM position in racing today at the moment. But he's with champ, so he's going to come round and be, well, I think, crown the champ today for this one. Here he is, Kenneth Gunnarsson then. To the delight of his mechanic, comes round to take the checkered flag here in the 125 Grand Prix, Uddevalla in Sweden. Going to be very happy with that result. Ramon then, Eggins, top three, De Ruva, De Guy, Sword, Jorgensen, Falametti, that's the top eight.
Yeah, it was really a perfect place to win my first Grand Prix. So many Norwegian here, and yeah, they cheered for me, and it was really, really nice to win here.
So the flags are waving for the man that just did the winning. There they are, Ramon Eggins, and the champ for today, Kenneth Gunnarsson. What a great result for him. So the championship standings look like this now. James Dobb not scoring here today, 145. From Eggins, Ramon, Sciodi, who's out of the Grand Prix. Luigi Siggy, Bugelman, and Falametti. Gunnarsson up to 8.
If instead of driving home from work, you were driving across a whole continent, what would you take with you? You'd take Thrive. It's a 4-CD set with the 60 most exhilarating open-air tracks ever written. Eric Clapton, Chris de Burgh, Fleetwood Mac, and the Christians. John and Vangelis, Eurythmics, Elton John, and In Excess. But you can't buy it in the shops. You have to order by phone. With a 4-hour lineup of classic artists like these, it just hits the road and keeps going.
My name is Luca. I live on the second floor.
To get your copy, call now. Inside, we know great music when we hear it.
So here we go, it's the 250s now. Look on the inside, number 2, Mikhail Pichon, the pole sitter. Paul Cooper, number 8 there, right alongside him, but Cooper's had a pretty poor start. Who's going to get the whole shot? We're on board with the Italian, Claudio Federici. And where is Pichon? Well, down in about 6th or 7th place. A terrible start. He had a wretched time in qualifying, falling quite a few times, but still managed to put in that one quick lap. But it's Crockard that leads it at the moment. That could be, well, I'm not sure, is that Maschio behind him or Chad Reed in 2nd place? A Kawasaki for sure, but I'm not sure. Here's number 13 going through there. Whoa, what a race we've got starting to fall up here at the front. Crockard, the Irishman, storming away with this at the moment. It is Maschio. Reed is there as well. That looked very much like Coleman, and there was the current championship leader. But we're on board again with the Italian, Federici. Well, you can see the conditions are rough out there. We had heavy overnight rain. It made the track very wet. It's chewed up a lot this morning, and it's given these guys a hard time. That's Coleman on the 42, Husqvarna there, and that's Pit Fire on the Skittles Yamaha. Well, he's had not the best of starts either. Jussi Vervelainen, but there's our onboard camera, number 5, Claudio Federici, the Italian. Going for gold. Josh Coppins there, trying to get a little bit through. He's still got his teammate, Mikhail Pichon, there behind him, but it's Crockard that leads it. The Irishman already won Grand Prix win this year. He beat Pichon in Genk. Can he do it again here now? Well, that's the question, and we'll all be asking ourselves. Well, what a great race. Crockard, Maschio, Reed, Nunn, Federici, and Josh Coppins, 6th place. Jussi Vervelainen, Carlson, Pichon in 9th. Colin Dunmore, Kovalainen, Pit Byron down in 12th. Yeah, Eliasson, and look at Frederick Paulet, the current champion. He's down there in 12th place. Demare back from that broken collarbone in 20th. Well, Paul Cooper. Well, someone on the floor, that looks like number 23 that has indeed gone down. That's Joachim Eliasson. Well, that's not going to do him any good whatsoever on the TM. But as they come through that very, very gnarly section, look at that. That's very tricky. It's an uphill set. But this young man, he's having no problems whatsoever. Number 6, Gordon Crockard from Bangor in Northern Ireland. First started racing back in 97. Just look at that start he had. Number 25, Loris Freeberg's a Latvian going down there. Oh, upside down. Somebody else went over the back on another one going over the top of him. That looks like Tipek, the Croatian, number 46. Well, they'll pick themselves up and sort out whose bike is whom. But in the meantime, that young man, unworried about what's going on behind him, Gordon Crockard. 2 overall results in Grand Prix last year. The first one was in Spain. Gordon Crockard, second at the moment behind Pichon in the championship, but it's Maschio that's chasing him on the Kawasaki. Then the Aussie, Chad Reed, number 41, back there in 3rd place. And Reed, another surprise, new boy on the block for this season 2001. And is he showing his worth? So that's the gap. It's under a second, as you can see. So it could go anyway, but Crockard, I suspect, will try to pull a gap on the other 2. But the question we all are asking is, where is Mikhail Pichon? This is not obviously going to be one of his days, unless he can catch these 3, or even catch Crockard. It's a long race. Anything can happen between now and when they swing that checkered flag. There's Claudio Federici. He's now got Pichon right behind him with number 42, Carl Nunn, a British rider on the Motor X Husqvarna chasing those 2. So, what can Mikhail do? We're on board now with the Italian. Are we going to see a yellow Suzuki pop up the inside of there any moment now? And the answer is, well, not yet, but I'm sure it's going to happen quite soon. Federici entertaining up here with some great onboard shots. The new cameras that we fit for the helmets of the riders. Look at that. Your stomach goes down as well, doesn't it? It's a big drop-off. And he's, well, the Italian Federici holding off the current series leader at the moment, Mikhail Pichon on the Corona Suzuki. But Pichon looking for a way round. That's only a question of time, I think. He had, I said, a wretched time in qualifying. Had several falls, wasn't happy at all. But I think if he can get into the top 3 today, it's a bit of damage limitations. But he's got to get past that white Chesterfield Yamaha that's in front, number 5. That's Federici. He had his best result in Australia, finishing 2nd, 20 points. But things haven't gone so well since then. He's had a couple of 4th places, but Claudio beginning to pick up the pace once again. But he's got that snarling tiger. There he is. Mikhail Pichon, Nunny is 7th, Vervelainen and Dunmore 9th. Paulet now up to 10th, Fire up to 11th, and Kovalainen drops down to 12. So the current world champion, he's having a record time of it as well. So these kind of conditions could be real levelers as far as riders concerned. And this is the next scrap that's going on for second place, because Maschio has got the Aussie Chad Reed breathing right down his exhaust pipe. And thank you very much. Reed says, I'll have that, as they go past the mechanics area. He's up to second. That's 20 points from the score sheet if he can just stay there. Maschio down in third. So the two Kawasaki runners going at it then, corner to corner. Teammates, of course, don't want to be pulling each other off on the track if they can help it, but points are important. And Pichon has found his way through. He's gone past Claudio Federici, so he's on a move. Now, can he catch the two Kawasaki's in front? Well, that's a big question. Can he catch Crockard? He's way out in front at the moment, beginning to pull an enormous gap on the other two. But Mikhail Pichon is not one to give up. Fourth place. Last year's championship, he was, well, on the point of winning it, and it all went horribly wrong. It's Grobendorf when he crashed over the jump and hurt his shoulder. But can he hold it all together? Oh, down gone Maschio. He's on the floor, number 9. Mikhail Maschio drops the bike. So, thanks to Maschio, Pichon now moves up into third place. Fourth place then for Claudio Federici. Well, things can happen, as I say, they often do. Track conditions, you can see, are very tough on these lads, and I think that Josh Coppins closing in on these two. So the New Zealander, gutsy, full of determination, he doesn't want to finish with a poor result. Carl Nunn has now got Frederick Follet, the world champion, right alongside him, and Nunn is not giving up. The young man from Milden Hall in Norfolk, former British scoreboard champion, went to race in Belgium when he was 14 years of age because he wanted better competition, and he's up against some of the best competition in the world now, especially that man, and Follet shows him who is the champion and the reason why. He goes straight past him on the inside, but fair dues to Nunny. He's a youngster, he's got a lot of learning to do. So Frederick Follet, a bad start for him. He's going to have to work very hard to get himself up the order. 7th at the moment. He's gone from about 11th to 10th, now up to 7th. He's on the move, but I don't think he has any chance whatsoever of catching that man. Also on a Honda, Gordon Crockard. Reed now second place and closing on Crockard. The gap, 2.287. Well, that's room enough to catch before the checkered flag as the Aussie got it in him. He had a tremendous ride at Broadford in Australia. Out goes Yves de Maurier. That's obviously that collarbone that he broke at the previous Grand Prix. But his teammate Pitborough, Abhinav, Crockard, Reed, then Pichon now up to third, Federici Coppins to fourth. I said he was fighter, Follet, Nunn, Verlaine, Colin Dugmore, Pitborough there, Dugmore on the number 16 bike, about, I think, to go down to the German, or is he? Dugmore, he's a fighter, he won't give this up, neither will the man in front. The second of the CAF Bacon Bike Hondas in the hands of Yassi Verlaine. Gordon Crockard, his teammate, leads this race, but we have a great battle on here. And just look at Byra leaning all over Dugmore. Oh, and almost coming together there. So that's going to move Verlaine up behind Carl Nunn. Byra up behind Verlaine, and Dugmore drops down one. Now, can Pitt, the Bulldog, do it? He is really charging, but look at Dugmore. He refuses to give way to this. He wants to get that position back. They come through that wood section. Look at Pitt. He handles the bike as if it's just a baby toy. He just throws the thing around. But Dugmore, determined not to give this one up. He wants to keep going. The South African on the Millennium Motocross KTM, boy, he just doesn't want to move over. The fire is through at the moment, so it could go anybody's way. Byra hanging on, trying to close down on the 15 bike of Yassi-Pekka Verlaine from Finland. And Verlaine, of course, wants to have a good show in here in front of the Scandinavian fans. But there is the New Zealander, Josh Coppins, back in 5th place at the moment. Second of the two, Corona's look is a Maschio tangling with Frederick Follet. Follet, in as always a determined move, pushing his way through. So that must put Follet up into about 6th position now. Maschio down into 7th. Well, there you are. We're right. 6th for Follet, 7th for Maschio. That's the time. It's Follet on an absolute flight. 2:11.694 against 2:14. Well, you can tell why he has overtaken him. Frederick, if he can keep it on the two wheels, he'll be after the guys in front. And there's one of the ones he wants to catch, the Italian, Claudio Federici, taking us through that set of gnarly whoopie-doos. They are a lot steeper than they actually look, believe you me. home over the big tabletop. Down the other side. Great pictures from her onboard camera. You see we've got a bit of mud splatters on it, but not to worry, he's in 4th place on the Yamaha. Look at that. Stomach-wrenching action as we go over the big tabletop here at Uddevalla in Sweden. Track conditions, you see it's very stony, starting to rut up. Very, very slippery. Back wheel kicks up as he puts the power down. The suspension on these machines absolutely working overtime as these lads haul them around this track. So it is Federici then. We're back on board as he goes over that speed step up, lands it down. That's a heavy landing. Slight left-hand drop off that one, but here is the Suzuki runner. Series leader, Frenchman Michael Pichon. That's his mechanic. Gives him the board, tells him the time, and just look at the style. He's beginning to settle down. His confidence is beginning to flow once again as he hauls that Suzuki around the track, stays up on the seat as he goes to that rough section at the bottom. And Michael Pichon, I think, is going to start to become a threat to the two riders that he has in front. One of those, of course, being number 41, Chad Reed, but there is Follet, still at the moment in around 6th position. Frederick Follet, well, I think he can get goodbye to that number 1 plate for this year. He's had a wretched time of the season with, of course, at the beginning, finding the wall. That's an example of the problems he's had. He's trying so hard to find it all over the shop. Coppins beginning to close in on, I think it's there, it is indeed Federici. Coppins up to 5th, Federici in 4th, so we've got another good scrap here. So the two Suzukis, one in 3rd place, one in 5th place going for 4th. But Sylvain Gabor's team manager won't be too happy with the performance of his lads here today. Well, that's Pichon, and he's gone past Reed for 2nd place. The Aussie unable to respond. The Frenchman looks over his shoulder, goes for a pull-off or roll-through on his goggles. It's a little film that's held in by 2 canisters, grabs a little toggle, pulls it across, a thin strip of clear plastic goes across the goggles. So Pichon now 2nd place and hunting down Gordon Crockett, and there he is. The gap between these two, you can see it's only a couple, I'd say about 6 or 7 bikes length. There's Nick Moores, the mechanic for Gordon Crockett, telling the back markers out of the way. They're in the way. Crockett's going to come through. Crockett riding out of his skin, takes the checkered flag. Pichon finishes right behind him. Reed, Federici, Coppins, Bolle, Maschio, Conan, 8th place.
Well, that could be true. I've won 2 GPs now. I haven't really been thinking about that too much. I've just been trying to improve my own performance as much as I can. I was quite disappointed with how I rode. I was very stiff and not relaxed on the bike, thinking too much about the actual race result as opposed to my own riding performance. But yeah, again, I've won and Michael was 2nd.
So Chad Reed gives that Swedish young ladies a taste of champagne. Crockett on the top step. 2nd step then, Michael Pichon. Great race. standings now look like this. It's still Pichon that leads from Crocker. Frederici, Coppins, Follet, Cadbury, Titmore and Demare in 8th place. Youthful plastic spare parts, protection, sportwear, all for the off-road.
Yourself go. Summertime on Eurosport. Just lie back and enjoy it. Eurosport. Sunny side up.
There we go. It's the turn now of the big boys, the 500. We've got an onboard camera with Peter Johansson on the number 3 KTM. They get off the start, but someone's made a bit of a jump there, I think. I'm not sure whether we're going to see a red flag come out there because someone definitely jumped that start. It's Johansson that led them away, but there is a red flag being waved, so they're going to get pulled back to the start again, I think, for this one. Yes, indeed, the red flag is out. So there it is. You saw what happened. Well, I think the rider just let go of the clutch a bit too soon, but I'm surprised because that start gate just tipped over. They're not supposed to do that. Well, they're back on the gate again. Can Johansson get another cracking start? Well, we'll wait and see. Up the inside there. Johansson has indeed got a good start on the number 3 bike. We'll get some great onboard pictures. Where is Metz? Where is the 72 bike there of the series leader? Belgium's Stefan Everts. Well, at the moment it's Peter Johansson here in front of his home crowd that's trying to clear off with this one. So can Johansson hang on to it? Andrew McFarlane just went through the picture there. Look out for Monique Vervoorts, number 2, coming back from those operations on his forearm to stop the arm pumping. But there is Everett. He's back there at the moment in 3rd place. We're looking at the race order. I think that's Christian Berner, number 14, that Maywell was in. Number 16, that's in 2nd place. They're coming through so rapidly. That would be Jonas Engdahl, but it is indeed, it is 16 Jonas Engdahl that's got 2nd place. There's Smith, Andrew McFarlane, there's the Vorts behind him. So some of our top runners not showing so well. McFarlane from Australia going underneath the world champion there, number 1, Joel Smet, and Smet still suffering with that rather embarrassing strain. I won't talk too much about it for the sake of a red face on the poor lad, but I can tell you it's to the lower section of his body and it can be quite painful, lads. So 3, Peter Johansson. It's Everts now up into 2nd place, so Everts will be looking to get a clear away. There is Vervoorts, number 2, and he's got Shane King there on the inside of him, number 24. McFarlane there right in front of him on the 29 Chesterfield Yamaha. Well, it's a 460 bike, whereas Everts is riding the full 500 factory Yamaha 4-stroke. Garcia Vico, 15th place for the Spanish rider. Justin Burnham down in 17th place. Well, Van Vettel, Altonen, Denis Nielsen, King there. Well, just look at this. Walker down there in 29th place. That's not the place he would like to be, but the action is certainly thick and fast. Joachim Carlson, number 7 there, who took us for an onboard lap around this track, but Everts is beginning to close in on the race leader, and it's 99 now, becoming Cedric Mello there, the Belgian one, is starting to close in on the 2 in front, and can Everts get through? Everts pushes past Johansson. Johansson, remember, carrying a helmet camera there. You can see the picture of the former 125 and 250 world champion, and he's coming back. He's coming back. Johansson standing for none of it. Well, you might have been a world champion, but you're not going to beat me on my home circuit. There's Peter Johansson, but can Johansson keep this up? Everts goes back through on the inside. Mello in 3rd place at the moment. He needs to, hoping that maybe they'll lock handlebars and disappear off the track and give him a chance to run at the front. but it's Johansson. Peter Johansson, 34-year-old Swede, in front of his home crowd. Look at, they're going crazy. I don't know what go for it is in Swedish, but I'm sure that's what they're shouting to that man at the moment on the number 3 KTM. I should think Stefan Everts must be thinking, hang on a second, you're supposed to give way to me. And Everts pushes his way through again, and Johansson comes back at him. Johansson turns it tighter, but Everts has still got the outside, but I think, yeah, Peter Johansson takes that berm, pushes Everts wide. He goes over that big tabletop down the hill, and I should think that Stefan Everts is wondering what's going on here. Cedric Mello, 99, back there in third place, still watching the action in front. Well, that's the old Smith. He's in fourth place, but Everts has another look, and Everts makes it through this time. Now, what can Johansson do? The crowd, you can hear the horns being hooted. Peter Johansson must think well, it's his birthday, it's all come at once at the moment. Can he get past back? Is he going to finish in the top 3? Is he going to finish on the podium? Well, there's Smith, 4 times a 500cc world champion. He's now broken the record of the famous Joel Robert. He's won more Grand Prix races than Robert has. So he's got, well, a lot to do. He wants to hang on to that number 1 place. But Everts, 2 years out of racing with injury, came back this year on a new team, fully focused, and he's already beginning to, well, I won't say run away with the championship, but he certainly leads it at the moment. Stefan Everts, son of Harry, another great all-time world Belgian motocross champion, and Everts beginning to pull the gap, but your stomach goes up in the air as we go forward again with Peter Johansson. What incredible shots we're bringing out from motocross races. You've not seen anything like this before. Well, there you are, you're looking at the back of the former 125-250 world champion Stefan Everts. He's out in the lead on the Yamaha, the L&M Radson Yamaha 4-stroke. He's got Peter Johansson on the KTM there, right behind him. And Joel Smith, teammate to that man in second place, he's beginning to close on those two. So Smith will not want that number 72 Yamaha to get too far out of reach. He wants to have a crack at Everts before this race is over. And remember, Smith riding with a slight injury. He can't run at the moment. He can bicycle, but he can't run. So his fitness training regime is beginning to suffer. And Smith has been making mistakes over that big tabletop again. Full recoil of the suspension as they land. Down that very steep hill, and that is extremely steep. Oh, and Smith, I think, has picked up a bit of trackside tape. I hope that doesn't get into that right-hand disc at the back. Well, he's going for his teammate, Peter Johansson. Smith looking around the outside of the Swede. Can he get him on the out? Is he going to be clean? It looks clean at the moment. And Johansson fights back on the inside. Peter Johansson not prepared to give this up as we just momentarily lose the pictures. Remember, this is all radio type signal. It's microwave signal, so you get a tree in the way to transmitter and receiver. That's why the picture breaks up. But great technology, great pictures here from World Motocross. And look at Peter Johansson. Look at him go. Well, now can Smith get past the next man? Race leader number 72, Stefan Everts. These two have been rattling handlebars all season long, and at the moment it's Everts that has got the better. Smith goes to the inside, gets the drive, launches the KTM into the lead. What's Everts going to do? Outbrake him into the next corner, takes the wide side, cuts back into the inside. Everts, the racecraft of these two, probably, well, more than anybody else on the track. Oh, down goes Smith. He lost the front wheel. He's planted on the floor. Where is Johansson? There he is. Oh, look, oh, this is incredible stuff. The two teammates clash. Well, Smith, I think, lucky to get back on the track. He hasn't gained an advantage. He was in what they call no man's land there, so he won't be penalised for not returning to the track at the same spot that he left. Well, I'm sure Stefan Everts is totally unconcerned about what's going on behind him, because now he has a pretty good gap over number 1, Joel Smith. And Smith, that cost him dearly. He was picking up speed. He was looking to get past Everts to take the win. Well, we saw this happen in previous Bianchi in particular, when Smith led. He made a mistake virtually on the last couple of laps before the end. He let Everts through, and Everts just went on to take it. Thank you very much. So, yes, Joel Smith making unaccustomed mistakes at the moment. But Peter Johansson, well, he hasn't given it up. The Swede, I think, would like to finish on the rostrum. Third will do nicely, thank you very much. 15 points, but remember, it's in front of his home crowd here in Uddevalla in Sweden. Let's have a look at that pass there on Smets, on Everts, and Smets. You watch that front wheel, you can see that's where it starts to go. The suspension rebounds off the bus, the front wheel starts to get away as Smets lays the bike into the corner, and that was that. And that's not the first time that Joel has made that kind of mistake this year. So he's rattled. He had it all his own way last year. No one but Marnik Bavort gave him a run for his money, but this year things have changed. Stefan Everts is back on the scene. So Smets, the defending champion, number one on that big 520cc KTM. Team manager, of course, the legendary four-time runner-up Kurt Nickel in the World 500cc Championship. So Kurt, of course, no doubt giving some wise tips of advice to his men, but at the moment Peter Johansson's sitting behind his teammate. But let's have a look at it again. Johansson stuck it up the inside. Smets tried to get back on the track. I think Johansson just caught a bit of a bump there. They were so lucky, both of them, not to end up in a big pile of KTM porridge. But as you can see, Smets got back on the track, and the team look on as if to say, good God, what are they doing out there? So, and that's Bavort, and Bavort has moved up past Peter Johansson, so that's third place for the Belgian Marnik Bavort. And are we going to see a repeat of previous Grand Prix with Everts taking the win, Smets in second, then Bavort third? Remember, Marnik has had an operation on his forearms to relieve the problems of arm pumper. And for those of you out there that aren't quite sure what that means, that when you begin to stiffen up your arms, your muscles tighten, your arms become very solid, and you're unable to flow with the bike. It's very painful and it slows you down. You can have an operation to relieve it, but there are other methods. But Marnik, it's the second time he's had the operation. But there is Joel Smets, now 11 seconds behind Stefan Everts, the race leader, but he's now got Marnik Bavort on that number 2. Chesterfield KTM closing right down on him. Remember, Marnik, well, three times I think, yes, a runner-up in the 250cc class. Last year, a runner-up in the 500cc four-stroke class. And of course, that was his first year, so the man has ridden great for the first season. Can he do better? Garcia Vico, up to fifth place, Vico. He's having an inspired ride. Remember, the Spaniard carried out on-board camera last time out. We got some great shots on him, but he really is a charger. Won't give up, and what a likeable character he is in the paddock. Always a smile on his face, always has a joke. Doesn't speak the best of English. McFarlane has dropped it. The Aussie Andrew McFarlane has dumped it on the floor. They're going past him one after another. Let's have a look at that. You can see the problem. He just ran out of foot, I think. The front end got away from him, and his foot just couldn't get out there to steady it. Simply the best. That's what's written on the board for Stefan Everts from his mechanic. There he is. He's on course to pick up another 25 points. This will help to extend his lead in the championship and help him possibly towards that third crown and the record. The second only man ever to take a crown in all three categories. Behind, of course, the famous, legendary Eric Gabor's the Kid. 25 points then goes to the tally in the World Championship. He has to be happy with that. Smets behind him in second place. The team are pleased. Ronaldo's in there. They're all pleased. What a result for Stefan Everts.
Yeah, at the end I had the win, but in the beginning Peter Johansson was making it very difficult for me. I tried to pass him, but every time he passed me back, and it was so hard for me to get to go very fast and take a very strong rhythm, but every time he break it, so physically it was very hard. And then Joel was pushing and he passed me, but I fought back and he made a mistake, and from that moment on I knew if I would keep pushing and keep the distance the same, I could take the victory, and I did that till the end, but it was a very hard physical race.
So to present the trophy there, former World 250 motocross champion from Sweden, Håkan Andersson, to Stefan Everts, another one for the trophy case, and there's no doubt he'll be pleased about that.
here's the standings then after the 7th round here in Sweden. It's still that man, Everts, that leads it from Smets, Revorts, Garcia Vico, Johnny Lynn, McFarlane, Shane King, Cedric Maloney. Next round, 15th of July, it's Ernie in France. See you there.